Hello world, this is me. It's 8 o'clock Sunday evening, and this is probably going to be one of the more boring rants and offerings that I can do. I have an intention and a desire to create more videos and live streams and share my thoughts on the world and encourage you all to live more fully and freely. That's my passion. What about the music? Can we?
You want to have it low?
Oh, you have it on with purpose. This is the best thing with live stream. It's like you be behind the scenes. I didn't even know. Did you put it on by choice?
Yeah, that's the music that's running all the time, and you can have it on or off, or louder or less, or what do you like?
You know, it's not supportive.
Okay.
Or maybe it is. I don't know. Anyway, so I'm going to ramble a little bit. So the whole point with this, if you haven't, you probably have not met me before. Maybe somebody have who will check this in there afterwards. But I'm deeply passionate about empowering people to live more fully and freely, as said. And today's live is basically just an milestone and opening for me to start to share more. So the whole point of this talk is for me to show up in my rawness and test talk and just allow that what wants to come. And the fascinating thing about that is also it's an edge, you know, like there's no preparation and I'm not feeling in my fullest, and what happens then. And that's really a part of my work, you know, when can we show up without knowing what to do all the time? Can we show up even if we don't feel in our fullest? Can we do things that massively stretches us out of the comfort zone just to stretch us out of the comfort zone? So right now I'm stretching my comfort zone. and that's fun, you know, like the more I mean it's uncomfortable and it's fun at the same time. So my whole point, and I guess if you would bring something, like some nugget from what you hear me talk about from this specific talk, that would be to allow yourself to do things that makes you feel uncomfortable in order to get more comfortable with yourself. Because the more you do such a thing, the more you can apply it in every situation in your life. For example, in 2 days ago, Friday, I was in a spinning class at the gym. And I was sitting there with my earphone listening to music, and the teacher, the instructor, they didn't show up. And I was secretly almost hoping they wouldn't come, because I was like, okay, fuck, I'm gonna jump on and I'm just gonna lead the group. Like, notice I'm not the spinning instructor and I had no music preparation, but the instruction never came, and I could notice this impulse of wanting to show up and wanting to lead this class, and at the same time this discomfort of not being good enough and not, you know, what if it won't work, what if they don't like it, what if the music doesn't fit, you know, all this nervousness that comes up when we put ourselves in such out of the comfort zone, basically. But nowadays, because I have as a sport done this to myself multiple times, I know that I need to do the opposite so the fear won't hold me back. So I used it as a fuel. I went up on the bike and I was like, you know, I felt a little uncomfortable and awkward, and I just brought it in, you know. And I put on this playlist, and in some magical way everything flew just perfectly. I just did a spinning class, applied my teachings out of life and inspired people into finding their flow and feeling their bodies and being more in connection. And the playlist was playing perfectly until the last track, where the last track ended up being like a soft track when we went into the integration. And I just giggle for myself. Like one, I've learned nowadays to put myself into uncomfortable situations, which means I can do it everywhere, like here, now. Like I'm not prepared. I know I'm not delivering my best. But what the fuck, you know, like the more comfortable I become being uncomfortable, the easier life becomes, yeah? Oops. Yeah, on? Okay. And now I forget what I want to say with that. Because I'm also thinking when I rewire the tape back in the days, and I'm sure many of you can relate to that, when you want to do something or you want to speak up or you want to express yourself but you don't, you hold yourself back, and that often has a price. And the price is often that you feel that you give up on yourself or that you belittle yourself, yeah? And so it comes, you limit yourself instead of going into expansion. So when you actually expose yourself for new challenges and you stretch yourself, you become more, yeah? Whereas if you keep on limiting yourself and not showing up, you will feel more and more contracted. And if you pay attention to that, that has the price that you feel that you belittle yourself. It can come with the heaviness, like you know that you're giving up on yourself. You know that. And for some people, they just keep on walking through life and they're not even aware, they're not paying attention. And for some people, they start to notice that edge where they give up on themselves, and then the price of not showing up or not doing the stretch or not challenging themselves becomes higher than actually the fear of doing it or actually doing it, yeah? So the reward then becomes bigger. Back in the days, it might be that the reward of holding back was bigger, like it was fine still. But then at the time, it will come. The price of holding back will be higher, and the reward of showing up will be the gold mine. Yeah. I truly believe that way too many of us walking through life, not fulfilling our potential and our capacity. And many times I also believe that is because we never really learned to listen to ourselves. We never really took time to actually feel into what we wanted. You know, some few are privileged with having that instinct or that instinct or that impulse of listening to themselves and following it through, but many are actually more programmed to listen to outer authority, yeah? And that for some, again, might be fine throughout life, but often people come to a point in life where they wake up, maybe they have a major crisis or a midlife crisis, or they separate from a relationship they've been involved in way too long or something, and something happens that they're like, whoa, who am I? What do I really want in life? Yeah? And that can be one of the most difficult things to figure out, even if it sounds so basic and so easy. But it's not for most people. I worked with many high achievers and people who seem like they know what they want, and they can, you know, lead with their whole hand and go for what they want, and they build big companies, yeah. But what I also came to learn, and that doesn't apply to everyone, of course, but there are a red thread, yeah, is that behavior is more like an overcompensation of a more small self, like a low self-esteem. So when you separate the leader from the person, yeah, the leader who is well developed and self-secure, and look into the personality, the inner self, many of these people actually don't know what they really want, because they don't know who they are without that costume of a leader. Yeah. So sometimes asking those people, like, what do you really want? What do you long for? What do you want in a relationship? What is valuable for you intimately? They don't really know, because they're often caught up in pleasing or doing what they think they should be doing. Yeah? Because again, the pattern is built upon that their worth lies in the doing and not for who they are. And I actually think, when I just feel that rant or that process, that many of us are so programmed and trained from an early age to do something for others, and we learn to do it in order to be loved and appreciated. Yeah. So again, many don't really know who they really are. Yeah. And I think, might be wrong, an extension of that can be that we feel unhappy, we feel disconnected, we don't really know who we are. We might achieve, but still there is this emptiness, there's a feeling of loneliness, of meaninglessness. Yeah. But if we could just rewind and look deeper within and find that the core of our own essence and blueprint and being, and operate from that place, I think we could all live more fulfilled. If there is such thing as a unique individual. Or is it all just programming and overlaps and repatterning of patterns? It's a deep question. Like, I ask myself that many times. Like, do I really is this really true, or is this just another layer of a creation that I have created? Like the so-called personality. But the best thing with that, with the repatterning that we all are and that we all function as, is that anything that has been created can be uncreated or transformed into something new, which means that we are not bound to be who we are in this very moment. We can always change. We are not our history. We are not our thought patterns. We are our thought patterns in this current moment, but it also means that we can change our thought patterns and change who we are. And I think that is a sport, yeah, to understand that that is a part of what I would call true power, is to understand that we have the power to change. We can become whoever we want if we put our intention and energy into it, and believing that, and taking action towards becoming more of that we truly want to be. Yeah. And that is really to explore our potential. It's again because many people they are talking about, like, I want to live true to my potential. You know, maybe you can relate to that you want to live true to your potential, but what does that even mean? Yeah, do you even think, like, some people think that they will wake up one day, snap, and they are like, I'm just hearing my potential. No, when, like, the realization is that you grow into your potential. You can only become by becoming. Yeah, there is no such thing as a magic wand ever. Like, if you grow a superpower, you have to learn to use that superpower, and often you learn to use that superpower by developing the superpower. Yeah. So to understand that mechanism, that every little step forward and sometimes backward is a part of the process of living true to your potential. How can it not? How can it not? So if you apply that living true to your potential is a process, yeah, and a process is forever, yeah, it never ends, because what do you know about your ultimate potential? How can you even know that? I mean, there is no end goal to that, because if you live in a constant form of progress and expansion and forwardness, you only know so much as what you know now, yeah? You can perhaps see a reflection in role models, other people, what other people have achieved. That's something you might want to become. But still, you only know what you know right now. And once you take a few steps forward, then you know a few more things. And I think that is a really both empowering way of seeing it, seeing life, and encouraging. Because then we also know that we need to do the work. Yeah, nobody else can do the work for us ever. Like ever, people can open doors or show potential or talk about the potential, or perhaps like this is how you can look at it. But the power and the potential only grows when you are actually doing it. Yeah, it has to be yours. There is no other way. There's no savior. And it's empowering. Like if you feel into that, it's really empowering and it's fun. Yeah, and if we can apply, the progress with the process and sense of humor and lightness and knowing that, even if we have an idea that something will go in a straight direction, it will go like this. And even there, I love this. Even there, we think linear, like this is where I want to go. Like, okay, this is where I want to go. And it's supposed to go this straight, yeah? And have an idea. And I think we all know that life will always go like this, yeah? But how can this not be a learning? And we think with our linear mind, we think that this is the win, yeah? But in the ups and downs, we learn so much of life. We gain even more power probably even more than it would be like 1, 2, 3, 4, the straightforward progress. Like there is so much learning in just in the doing, in the curiosity, and if we let go of right and wrong. What is a setback? What is success? What is failure? Yeah. And I love that, and so many people say that, like, the faster you fail or fall, the faster you learn, basically. The faster you succeed. So every time we kind of meet the setback, and of course some setbacks just hits us harder than others, yeah, and that's just how it is. But to somehow to remember that it's also often a win in the setback, yeah, valuable wins. So for example, for me, if I would apply that to my own life, that if I wouldn't have that experience on my own, then it would be hard for me to sit here and talk about it, yeah? It's not embodied knowledge. And that is also power. Like a lot of my work is about what I call true power. And that is self-mastery, like understanding life. We live here in this crazy earth plane on this planet, and we meet all these weird beings and we explore all these things in our lives, and how can we master that in the best possible way, still being human and heart-centered and connected and cosmic and all of it. And not to take ourselves so serious, because life gets so boring if we take ourselves too serious. Just allow ourselves to meet life with a sense of ease and lightness. Because what is right and wrong anyway? So, I'm gonna wrap this up for today. And whoever was listening, thank you. Whoever is listening, thank you. And if you have any comments or questions or anything that you feel that was resonating with you, then I would love to take part of that. Yeah. So I'm really passionate about supporting you people, and the more you give from yourself, the more I can give back. So I wish you a wonderful continuation. Sending you much love.